Okay, there's one thing to mention, that if you take photos or use photo paper with your artwork, that it must not touch the glass. If it touches the glass, it eventually will stick to the glass and it will be a permanent feature on the glass. So the best thing to do is to have this actual cutout, which is called a mat. You can get at the framers, they have, most have a computer cutter so they can cut any size or any dimensions that you require. So sometimes if you have a frame with no mat, but you definitely have a photo, you really need to get something in between the two of them. And my best advice is to see a picture framer, because he or she will cut it to your exact size. They have choice of colour, and it will be exactly that you require for each frame. Now, when you're putting stuff in, there can be a few hazards to look out for. Now, these clips that a lot of pre-made frames come with are called flexi points. They are a very, very thin piece of metal that is designed to bend up and down so you can change the picture or have a new photo as required. But they can be very sharp, so my advice is to get a miniature flat screwdriver or even a butter knife from the kitchen, and just place it under the corner of one of them and lift. Now they need to be as flat as possible against there, because you need to remove the back of the picture. So do this very carefully and very slowly. These are things not to be rushed. They need to be taken your time with, so they're done safely and they look the best presented. The easiest way is to try to get the bottom up and slide it slowly out. If the cord becomes a problem, you can unscrew it and take it off halfway. Now usually frames come with a piece of paper like this. It's just a sample, tells you the size and tells you the cutout size, etc, etc. They can be placed to the side. But this is the important thing that you need to keep if you have photos. So again, be very careful not to damage this if it's already with the frame, because it's going to be your presented side. When they're cut out, they actually have a slight angle and a bevel, so you can always tell the front, because you can actually see the cutout. And this is what keeps your photo away from the glass. So this is very important to try and keep it clean and as flat as possible. The best way is to turn it up this way on the clean surface. Make sure your surface is very clean, because this is, the customer will see this. So the easiest way is to get your artwork or photo and place it that way. Most people decide that one long piece of tape is the way to go. But if you do that and tape the whole top, this can create ripples later on with humidity, and it will pull your photo or your artwork and distort it. So the best way is to get some either framing tape or any acid-free tape that's available from Officeworks, etc, etc. And cut a small piece. You don't need a very large piece, because the photo is not heavy. So just make it as even as possible. Try to keep it square, and you just need one piece in the center to hold the photo. Give it a slight rub so that you know it's going to be attached. Okay. On a longer artwork, you use two small pieces, but never use one piece of tape because of the rippling effect. Check that. As you can see now, all the words are there. It looks pretty straight along the top. And now this is the part that can be very tricky. The best thing to do is clean the glass. Now the glass in the frames are very sharp, the edges, so the least handling of the glass is the best. You can use Windex, you can use methylated spirits or vinegar to clean your glass, but the best thing is to make sure there's no dust, because it will definitely show up on your artwork later. You can check with the light. One little fingerprint can show up, so it's very important to clean the inside before you place your artwork in. Again, clean hands on the mat, because it's a white mat, it will definitely show up. And you don't want to scrape anything as least as possible. So, I'm showing you an example with a cord, but you can take the cord off one side. If you actually slide it from the top edge, it won't be seen, there'll be no marks there. Now this is the tricky bit, because some of these flexi points do slick out slightly. Once it's in, the best thing is to pick it up and see if you can see any dust. And that looks pretty clean to me. But this gives you the opportunity to find fingerprints or any little bit of dust speckles that's going to stand out later, is to remove it before you place the backing on. Same as the artwork, but just try not to actually push the photo or damage the photo or artwork in any way. So we'll just get it in. It's usually easy to get it one side down, the longest side, and then sometimes it may need a slight bend. I might actually take that cord off. As you can see, I've had a little bit of drama with the cord, so I'm going to remove it now. And in we go. So, screw back in. And then we'll get our flat screwdriver or our butter knife. And we slowly push the flexes flat. Make sure they're as flat as possible, because they are very sharp. So now we have a photo that's not touching the glass and it can be hung on a client's wall.